of his dementia, which we on the right have been talking about since the fucking first day he stepped into our Oval Office. So
Dan?
it's going to be Kamala. Who's going to run with him? I think.
Oh!
I think.
Dan, how about Hillary?
Oh, really?
You know why? Here's what I'll say.
Buttigieg.
Mark Halpern had it right. He called this on Newsmax on Friday. He said Joel stepped down on Sunday, and I'm hearing it's these, and it makes sense. Guys, don't overthink this stuff. They go for optics. Who did Donald Trump just pick? J.D. Vance. They know he's going to be great in the Rust Belt, the Bible Belt, the flyover states, the people that have the deplorables that Hillary called us all.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. Breaking news. Breaking news. Breaking news. Breaking news. Holy moly. Let me pull it up for you guys. A couple of things happening. Oh my gosh. Jesucristo. So the rumors were true. They said Joe Biden was stepping down by Sunday. Okay, I don't know where the hell I'm at. What happened to me? What the? He's stepping down. You believe this? Let me pull up the chat. I got to see what you guys are saying. Not only is he stepping down, okay, which some people believe actually that's the right thing for him to do is to step down. But what's worse is he has picked Kamala. Kamala! A lot of people don't like this woman. Even people that are Democrat or whatever don't like this woman. And he has nominated her, endorsed her. My fellow Democrats, today I've decided not to accept the nomination and to focus all my energies on my duties as president for the remainder of my term. My first decision, my very first as the party nominee in 2020 was to pick Kamala Harris as my vice president. And it's been the best decision I've made. Today, I want to offer my full support and endorsement for Kamala to be the nominee of our party this year. Democrats, it's time to come together and beat Trump. I don't think this is the lady that can do it. I'm sorry. It's not. I'm sorry, it's not. I think we're going to stream the DNC. I think it's going to happen because you know what? I don't. So okay, he nominated her. They can still pick whoever they want, right? If they, I don't think even they like her on her side really. And let me tell you this: I think Trump's going to win. If this is what they got, eso lo que tiene. Esto todo lo que tiene. Trump's winning. Trump's winning. Oof, those people got to be shaking in their boots. Woo! On Twitter somebody said I'll back her. Good luck. Well, she said I will back her. I'm too broke to move out of the country. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. This is not a good thing. Anybody that says this is a good thing and Kamala's good, whatever, are the same people that for years we've been saying Joe Biden is a bit of a decline. He needs, feel a little. I feel personally a little bad for him. He's in a mental decline, whatever. Are the same people that have been ignoring that, negligent, pushing him. I'd say almost elder abuse because they kept pushing him. No, he's fine. No, he's fine. The first time ever, these people for years, it's been so clear. But the first time ever is when the media tells them, because they have to be told how to think because they can't think for themselves. So the media tells them, okay, they finally turn on his ass. A whole bunch of people turn on his ass. And then that's when they're like, you know what? Maybe it's not best he runs again. And, he might, needs to be. I mean, the president's a very stressful job, Those are the same people. So y'all think this is a great thing? Okay, it might be a good thing to get Trump in office. Mamma mia. All right, let's read the Joe Biden's message. And him stepping out is probably the right thing. I mean, I couldn't see him doing another 4 years. But what are they going to do? Bye, Make It Mel. You can vote for your Trump. Well, who are you going to vote for? What are the options? Okay, so Biden said this, okay, today. Okay, rumors again. Rumors turned out to be true. And by the way, there's another rumor saying that supposedly, I don't know if it's true, that the Secret Service lady, the director, Chidel or whatever her name is, supposedly she's going to step down tomorrow. I don't know if that's true. She had said, just like Joe Biden, refused to step down, and look at Joe Biden today. And so we'll see if she resigns tomorrow. I don't know. And what is the alternative? Who else? Who else? I don't know. Somebody needs to step up. My fellow Americans, over the past 3.5 years, we've made great progress as a nation. I disagree, but today America has the strongest economy in the world. We've made historic investments in rebuilding our nation, in lowering prescription drug costs for seniors, and expanding affordable health care to a record number of Americans. We provided critically needed care to 1 million veterans exposed to toxic substances, passed the first gun safety law in 30 years, appointed the first African-American woman to the Supreme Court, and passed the most significant climate legislation in the world, or in history of the world. America has never been better positioned to lead than we are today. I know none of this could have been done without you, the American people. Together, we overcame a once-in-a-century pandemic and the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. We've protected and preserved our democracy, and we've revitalized and strengthened our alliances around the world. It has been the greatest honor of my life to serve as president, and while it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term. Some people are saying he should step down now, but I will speak to the nation later this week in more detail about my decision, so maybe we'll check that out. We'll tune into that. I will speak. Okay, I read that already. For now, let me express my deepest gratitude to all those who have worked so hard to see me reelected. I want to thank Vice President Kamala Harris for being an extraordinary partner in all of this work. And let me express my heartfelt appreciation to the American people for the faith and trust you placed in me. I believe today, what I've always have, that there is nothing America can't do when we do it together. We just have to remember we are the United States of America. Joe Biden. All right, so that's his official statement. And then after that, a little bit after, he tweeted out that he's going to focus all his energy. I've decided not to accept the nomination and focus all my energies on my duties as president for the remainder of my term. My very first decision as the party nominee in 2020 was to pick Kamala as my vice president. It's been the best decision I've ever made. Today, I want to offer my full support and endorsement of Kamala to be my nominee of our party this year. Democrats, it's time to come together. So we're going to see. I'm very curious how this is going to turn out. Are they going to back and get behind her? You know? RFK Jr. is running still. Is RFK, what is he running? He's running as independent, right? Maybe you think maybe they could be like a big switch or shift? RFK Jr.? I don't think Kamala's the person for the job. I mean, where has she been? I haven't even seen this chick. Wasn't she supposed to be managing the border? I don't know. This is crazy. Anita Flanagan, thank you for the 5. It came up with president. It's going to be a shit show, and I'm here for it. The DNC will probably stream. I wonder if they're going to go for this or they're going to turn against her. What is this? Oh, new footage shows this. What the hell? Wait, what? New footage shows the shooting suspect in the parking lot of Matt Butcher armed with a shotgun firing on at police. The suspect killed 2 people and 9. Oh, this is something else. What the hell is this? Okay. There's a couple of updates. We'll get into this in a bit about the shooter, Thomas Matthew Crooks. We'll talk a little bit about that too in a bit. I was just very shocked to hear this announcement. What do you guys think, man? What do you guys think? You know what the rumor I heard was too? on Twitter, of course, but the rumor I heard was that Hillary Clinton might try to run. Imagine that, like reliving 2016 almost. Was that 2016? I think it was 2016.
For president. Wepa.
I don't think Kamala can win it either. They need somebody else. Oh my God. You said Karen Reed for president? T. Diddy says Hillary is going to be nominated. I don't think Kamala can do it. If Hillary jumped in, maybe she'd have enough pull to at least, be supported by Democrats. Let me see what they're saying here for a little bit.
Duties and the benefits of J.D. Vance, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Michigan, he's right there and can help with those voters.
Would they bribe Joe to get this done by the weekend?
I want to know how much. I want to know how much money is going to be exchanged. What board seats are his family members going to get? How much money are they going to earn for the rest of their life? I mean, there's something had to have been negotiated in this. I don't believe otherwise.
Exactly. The man would never step down unless there's cash involved.
Or board seats. There's a lot of money in corporate
Mace,
boards. I have one more minute, and I apologize.
The Congresswoman?
Yeah, TJ, go ahead.
Yeah, Congresswoman Mace. Yeah, I was just wondering, do you think Joe Biden should resign as president? Because that's one of my points, is that if you're incapable of running for president, you're incapable of being president.
And we all know he's not calling the shots. And so, but I liked what JD had to say yesterday. The cynicism here, if you are a Democrat and you're calling for Joe Biden to quit his presidential campaign, then why aren't you calling him to resign from office? Because we know that if he's not mentally well or aware enough to run for president, then who's really running the country? I mean, that's the $1 million question here.
But he didn't want that visual, right, Nancy? He does not want the visual of having to resign the presidency that took him, 3 or 4 tries in 54 years. That man will be defiant to the end, even with only 10% brain capacity.
Right. Well, yeah, precisely. And I appreciate y'all. I have to hop off. I apologize. I'm traveling today. As you all know, it's been a crazy travel weekend with the CrowdStrike deal.
Yeah.
We'll talk soon. Thank you.
I bet.
Yes,
Thank you, Congresswoman. Appreciate it.
Come on the show next week, Nancy. Let's talk next week on the show.
We got Kim Cheadle tomorrow, the Director of Secret Service with Oversight Committee. So it's bound to be a very busy day.
Oh,
that's going to be fireworks.
Thriller.
That's going to be great.
I thought she resigned. I thought she
I thought she was going to resign. That's the rumor.
Thank you, Congresswoman.
It will be.
No, there's no bad.
It will be interesting to see because there's a lot of challenges that can go on with the ballots here. I know certain states have a lot of rules about withdrawal. You can't withdraw for political reasons. In certain states, like just because you're going to lose, you can't withdraw. And so it will be interesting to see how those play out because they're already going to go kind of a while without knowing exactly who their nominee is. Throw in the court challenges to it. That's a lot of chaos too as well. So I think, getting somebody who has a political future and name ID already nationally as vice president to be a part of that mess is going to be pretty difficult.
All right. It already started. I'm with her. We're already seeing it. If you just scroll through X, you're gonna see it.
Okay. Yes. So what are the chances of that?
Let's see. Let me see.
On that Bricksuit, let's get you in on this one. Welcome to the stage. What are the chances that we see Hillary back in the picture?
Hillary.
I know this was kind of floated earlier this weekend. People were like, "Oh, well, Hillary is coming around more often now." What do you think that we possibly see the Democrats nominate Hillary Clinton at the convention? Is that a possibility, Bricksuit?
It's a possibility. You got to think of it this way. Hillary Clinton knows she'll never get another chance at being president by going through the public in the primaries. The public has rejected her twice. She will never win in an election. This is her only shot ever at becoming president. So why wouldn't she shove every chip, calling every marker, shoving everything she's got and try and get it this time? I don't think she'll be successful, but I think she'll try.
I just think.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to go to. We have somebody up here on stage, and he just dropped down. It's always great timing.
Great timing, Nick. Great timing right there.
But what I'd like to know is I want to know how this convention is going to go. Is it going to be a secret ballot at this point? Can Joe Biden reassign his delegates to somebody else? Does it work that way? Can he just give them to Kamala? How does that work?
Nick, here's another thing that we got to realize is that there's going to be many people in the Democratic Party who are not happy with the Kamala Harris pick, do they hold out at the convention, not so much to stop it from happening, but to just cause a scene? I mean, are we going to get
Well, Nick,
4 days worth of like unbelievable television as you
Yeah,
have
for real.
the Hamas wing of the Democrat Party, as you have the squad over on one side, the more progressives, and then you have the old school sort of Biden Democrats that are not happy that he dropped out of the race, because I'm sure he still does.
All right, so can they still do that whole thing? Can they still vote for who they want? Like, is this going to be a shit show at the convention? That's what I'm wondering how that works. Like, can they still pick whoever they want? Like, okay, Biden nominated Kamala, but somebody yesterday said that they can still have a brokered thing. They can still have a brokered convention. Donald Trump is now getting in on all the Secret Service bashing a week after his attempt. Donald Trump's Secret Service blew it. Let me see. The convention, I'm not sure. I thought it was set for August. I don't know a specific date. I don't know if they've announced a specific date. It's going to be a shit show for sure. I saw, where's this thing at here? Everybody's talking about it. What a crazy time we're in. They're saying Alex Jones predicted the exact date Joe Biden would drop out of the race.
And I saw such incredible deep state pressure last week. I said, I think Biden will be gone by I think I said the 20th or 21st.
According to multiple Democratic sources, This is happening all of a sudden. Everyone said it would happen gradually and then all at once, and that's what's happening. According to my sources, President Biden has agreed to step down as the Democratic nominee.
Oh, man.
It will happen as early as this weekend. A speech has been drafted for him.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of rumors online about that. It's gonna be wild. It's gonna be wild. Kitty says August 19th to the 22nd. Hey, I think we need to watch the DNC. I want to see what happens. I'm here for the shit show. I'm ready. We need to see the DNC and see what happens. How that thing is gonna go down. And now that I see like how things are turning, I've mentioned it a couple times, and I think about that one lady, I think it was last year, that messaged me. Like, she was really upset that I just mentioned Trump on a story. It wasn't even like now or anything like that. I just mentioned it, and she was really upset, and she told me a couple of medications she was on because like she can't, I think she said she was traumatized by Trump and the political stuff, whatever. And so I remember I told her, I was like, I understand. And I told her, I think you're going to have to turn off the internet and turn off the TV, because if you think this is something now, wait till later on and look at it now. Bruh. All right, let me see what else they're saying here.
This nonsense. So clearly there, President Trump not just satisfied with the fact that Joe Biden has pulled out of the US presidential election race, but also saying he isn't fit to be a conversation with our sister station NBC News, and I read out that Trump fundraising email to you. He has now released a statement on Truth Social, of course.
He has?
Set that up when
What
he
did he
was
say?
kicked off then Twitter. It says, crooked Joe Biden was not fit to run for president and is certainly not fit to serve, and never was. He only attained the position of president by lies, fake news, and not leaving his basement. It goes on. So we've had this before as well, of course. Make America Great Again. Clearly, President Trump and the Republican campaign making the most of this moment, an extraordinary moment in US presidential history. We've also heard from Pete Buttigieg, the Transport Secretary. It says Joe Biden has earned his place among the best and most consequential presidents in American history. I am so proud to serve under his leadership and thankful.
By the way, this could be something really interesting for us to watch tomorrow. Lisa was telling me. Secret Service tomorrow. I guess the director lady. Okay, she's up against the council tomorrow. Supposed to be televised. Not sure, though. And Trump is doing an interview tomorrow night where he blames the Secret Service. Oh, it's going to be popping tomorrow. I hope they stream that thing live. I did hear she's, like they said earlier, she's supposed to have some type of, they're going to be questioning her. So we'll have to find out tomorrow what time that is. I'd really like to see that. And if Trump has something to say about Secret Service. Interesting.
For his unwavering focus on what is best for our country. More accolades, more kind words coming from the Democrat camp. That's, of course, following 37 Democrats who called on him to step down over concerns over his cognitive abilities. Let's now bring in Calvin Dark, political analyst and commentator in Washington, D.C. tonight. Good evening to you, Calvin. Thanks very much indeed for joining us on what is an extraordinary night in Washington, D.C. as Joe Biden decides to finally take this decision. The pressure was mounting. It didn't look like he was yet ready to go, but he says he will now not run for re-election.
Yes, that's true. Although the way it happened wasn't really that much of a surprise to me, because what we've known since the beginning of this process, a little over 3 weeks ago, is that he was going to be 100% in until
true,
he
Pearl
was
Jam.
100% out.
Pearl Jam says she isn't going to answer anything. I can't comment on an ongoing investigation. That's true. That's an easy cop-out. Oh, my gosh.
Or 100% out, because what the Trump campaign seems to be focusing on right now is that he may have pulled out of the US presidential election race, but he is staying in the White House as US president until the results of that election are announced. And of course, that then after that, we don't have the ceremony until January in the United States. So clearly the Trump campaign is going to make much of that.
Well, if they do, I think a lot of Democrats would like that, because if Donald Trump would like to focus on criticizing a man who's not going to run for president again, and I guess his ultimate goal is that Kamala Harris would become president. I'm not exactly sure, but practically it doesn't really matter, because unless Donald Trump can get Kamala Harris, and I think it's a majority of the cabinet, and then there's a vote in Congress to remove him, this is just political talk. And I think a lot of Republicans would probably want him to focus on his new opponent.
And I wonder what you make, Calvin, of Kamala Harris and that endorsement, that immediate endorsement from Joe Biden. Of course, he didn't want to skip a beat. He didn't want to perhaps leave some kind of political or leadership vacuum or any kind of speculation. He wanted to make sure that the person he backs and endorses is there, and also so that there is someone from the Democratic camp against the Republican campaign in place. However, just how much do you think the US public will balk at that handing over so swiftly, seemingly, to Kamala Harris without giving perhaps the Democrats a chance to decide who else they might want to run?
I actually don't think that's a really important question, simply because who among the Democrats wants to be the person to come out and say, I want to be the candidate for president, and take out the first African-American woman vice president, who the president who just said he was not going to be in the race endorsed. Now, I don't think there's anything legally that can stop them, but what Democrat would want to say now, I want to challenge Kamala Harris? I think a bigger question would be, who's going to be her VP? Because when we think about ambition, and ambition is something that politicians, no matter what country they're from, are very focused on, the most viable ambition path is who's going to be her VP. And I think that any realistic challengers will focus on that slot, not on being the person that says, let's not have the black woman.
Oh, Lord, they said that shit?
Calvin Dark, thanks very much indeed for speaking to us live from Washington on an...
So they said that Democrats are going to be afraid of challengers, because if you challenge her, what, it's going to be racist or something? You can't challenge her? What? Lord almighty. They got to do something. Or maybe not. Maybe this is whatever. Maybe they'll just go with this and back her. Kamala. I guess according to this guy, he thinks maybe they'd be afraid of challenger.
of shamed into doing it, not because he felt that
He was forced. Yeah, they came down on him.
Was diminished in his abilities. And so that, he's a prideful man. And I think what he did with this letter was try and take this discussion up a notch into the greater good and try and encourage people to think about the broader picture about him doing what's right for America. I think he did today what is right for America. Many people will be writing over the next couple of days about how much better off the Democrats would have been if he'd made this decision a few months ago and gave people a little more time to prepare this campaign. But we are where we are, and I think enthusiastically so.
And Hillary, as a political strategist, what might you advise the Biden camp right now, or the Democratic camp? They have been swift, of course, to endorse Kamala Harris, a successor. She has been the VP. He mentioned her in his standing down statement from the US election campaign. He mentioned her almost immediately on a tweet for that endorsement. Is that the right thing to do you think?
Well, it is the right thing to do because Kamala Harris as vice president is part of his legacy as president. They have always said that one of the most important decisions a president will ever make is who they choose to be their vice president. And so that's part of his legacy, and endorsing her is absolutely the right thing.
I feel like he almost didn't have a choice, right? Like, who else is going to endorse? And then she's there in office with him. And if he endorses somebody else, it's probably kind of like awkward or whatever. But they wanted him out. Obama told him to step down, and a bunch of other people, and behind the scenes, people were telling him to step down, and he did it.
But I do believe that people will coalesce around her as a viable candidate, and I don't think she's going to be seriously challenged.
That's scary. That's scary. That thought is scary to me.
I was just reading, Reuters are reporting that Democratic Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal has endorsed Kamala Harris for president. So we've had, as you say, and you predicted, swift support for President Biden's endorsement of Kamala Harris. This, the first I'm seeing myself, there may be others, from Democratic Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal. And we've all...
Imagine, like, Kamala gets picked by the Democrats, and then she somehow beats Trump, and then somehow it's like the numbers. She's the most voted for president ever. Like, she gets the most votes ever. Then you'll know something will be sus. At that point, you're going to be like, yo, come on now, bro. At that point.
Or because they're lining themselves up for the next round.
Well, I think we've seen by how swiftly some of these complex statements were distributed that they were written before today in anticipation of this moment. That's the irony of it all. So I think people expected this move. I think that there is going to be a significant reluctance from some of these other leading candidates. And there are a lot of wonderful candidates who, had there been time for a bigger, more open primary, might have chosen to run. I think it's very risky for them to do that now. And I think you're going to see some of them backing off and endorsing Kamala Harris.
For the moment, Hillary Rosen, political strategist, thanks very much indeed for your...
I wonder what's going to happen. What's the strategy? What's the game plan? I don't know, man. So I guess they feel confident, or at least Biden does, that Kamala can pull it off. Daily Mail, Trump could be the oldest president ever after Biden pulls out. Let me see what else. Let's see what else they're saying real quick here.
That is probably not the best outcome, even though she polls, even worse than the president. But the whole point of it is,
she polls worse than the president.
Question, can he serve for the next 4 or 5 months? Yes, because he's served for almost 4 years with, I believe, an apparatus around him that's kept him pretty well propped up.
But Ryan, do they have a point though by making that argument?
Oh, they have a point. I'm just suggesting, as somebody who's watched this for a lot of years, that be careful what you wish for. And they have to look at that calculus and decide, hey, if Biden steps down and you end up with Kamala Harris, does that benefit her? That's the calculus they have to go through. Or does she just expose herself as not ready for the prime time?
Yeah, that is a very good question, because that was going to be my next question about this. If Biden just decides, like Kraft is saying, maybe potentially just steps aside right now and lets Kamala Harris become maybe that president. But now also campaigning in 16 short weeks for president. That is a full plate, to say the least.
That's a lot.
Heard President Biden also endorse Vice President Kamala Harris, saying she's ready for the role. And if she wasn't, he wouldn't have picked her as the vice president. What do we make of her chances come November, and how much of an uphill climb will it be for her in this race if she is ultimately the one on the ticket?
Well, she's got a long way to go. The American public, and that's Republican voters, independent, and a lot of Dems, just don't have a lot of faith in her. And because of that, in these short weeks until the election, she would have
Newsom
to
and
really
Kamala
step
Harris
up
to
and
one's
become
California.
a
Look
president.
at the stats. Look at how businesses are shutting down and moving put. That is what the world will be. You will get what you vote for.
Bird Fan Bam, thank you for the 50. Appreciate that. Hope you're doing good. Gracias. Yeah, no, California, I mean, from the outside looking in anyway, it looks like a mess. Looks like a mess. It's pretty expensive over there. I mean, I guess they try to match it up with pay, but it's shitty over there. It's nice to visit. I don't know if I could live over there. It's nice to visit. I've gone a couple times. I went to the slums, too, because I wanted to see it. Even though I know everywhere has slums, but Trump has a televised interview on Fox tomorrow night. Oh, yeah, we got to check that out. Tomorrow, where he talks about the Secret Service. Yeah, that's the hearing link. Ooh, yes. Thank you. Thank you, Lisa. We don't have a time yet, but we'll figure it out tomorrow. We can watch that. I'm very curious to see if she'll even say anything. Secret Service director to testify Monday on Trump shooting. That should be interesting. We got a lot tomorrow, because tomorrow we got the Karen Reed conference status, which I just want to listen to see what happens. You know those people with Karen Reed, they're still arguing with each other? The people in that city, they're still going after each other, targeting each other, attacking each other, they're still having meltdowns and shit. Still! Oh, damn! But, yeah, tomorrow's the 22nd, so the Karen Reed conference hearing, and then tomorrow there's supposed to be a pretrial hearing for Alexei Treviso. And then the Secret Service thing. So it's going to be busy tomorrow. Okay, I think that's all I have for tomorrow. 3 things so far. I don't know the time for Karen yet. I'm going to try to find out. I'll try to find out. I know people want to see that, because when we cover that, then I can go over the documents of that juror that said they were afraid for their life or something. So, but yeah, those people are... All right, let me see. Okay.
Potential candidate that people can see as the president, and that's really what this is all about. And that means her polling numbers have to really start moving up, and they're pretty low. They're lower at times than the president. So she would have a lot of work. Now, even though the president endorsed Kamala Harris, at this hour, we don't know what that means. Does that mean that she will run? Does that mean she'll be embraced?
Yeah, houses are way too expensive in Cali, too. I mean, it's expensive everywhere, but Cali is just like ridiculous. Some new news. It says Speaker Johnson is now calling President Joe Biden to resign after making the major announcement that he will be dropping out of the 2024 Democratic race, saying if Joe Biden is not fit to run for president, he is not fit to serve as president. I think dropping now would be very chaotic. I mean, I understand what people are saying, but to have Kamala step in his place right now, holy crap, I don't know. Almost rather, I think, I don't know, maybe it's better for Joe to finish. I mean, let him run on cruise control and let, people, the staffers help him out or whatever. I don't know about Kamala stepping in right now. Lord almighty. What do you guys think? You think Kamala should step in now and Joe drop out?
Questions at this hour.
Yeah, a lot of questions to say.
Christopher says, I wish I could leave the country.
Tap dance around some.
Christopher, where would you go? What would you, if you could leave the country, what would be your choice? Like, where would you want to go?
the tweets that we're getting in because so many people are reacting it in real time, just like us. I want to put up this post here from Speaker Mike Johnson saying this at this unprecedented juncture in American history must be clear about what just happened. The Democratic Party forced the Democratic nominee off the ballot just over 100 days before the election, of course, saying having invalidated the votes of more than 14 million Americans who selected Joe Biden. So this coming in there from the Speaker
True, Carly,
of the House, Mike Johnson, talking about this here on Live Now from Fox. And this is some big news, the reaction from both Trump, Speaker Johnson, who was a key figure at the RNC as well. And maybe what are the Republicans looking at in terms of this, Brian? What are they saying right now? I know Trump is coming out and saying Joe was unfit, and this is maybe the best part for them. But what are they looking at, and maybe how uncertain is it for them as well?
Well, it's uncharted water, and so we're going to have to see how this plays out. The former president, Donald Trump, has said he thinks it'll be an easier path to beat Kamala Harris than Joe Biden. It's a we'll see. It's one of those things where, you know, all of these players are really well known. So this isn't a matter of if it's Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. These are players that are well known to the American public. What we don't know is whether...
Let's see this clip here.
I think that, to be very honest with you, I do believe that we should have rightly believed, but we certainly believe that certain issues are just settled. Certain issues are just settled.
Clearly we're not.
No, that's right. And that's why I do believe that we are living, sadly, in real unsettled times.
What does that mean? What does she even say? Ah, man, Kamala, it's time to shine. This is your time. Or some other Democrat that's not afraid to step up to her to take charge. Find me a mass shooter who wasn't on SSRIs. I'll wait. Exclusive. Doctor says antidepressants may have pushed Donald Trump shooter Thomas Crooks over the edge. Let me see if I can find that article. We're gonna get into that. I don't have a bunch like I did the other days on Thomas Crooks. There's just a few things, but kind of caught up in this Biden thing. Let me see. Doctors say antidepressants. Isn't that crazy? Like the side effects of some of these antidepressants is like killing yourself. It's like, what? Potential side effects? Make you worse? Interesting. I thought they said he wasn't on medication. He didn't have mental health problems, all this stuff. Well, now they're saying he does? Let's see. What happened? Details are beginning to emerge about the state of mind of Donald Trump's would-be assassin after they gained access to his cell phone. Though no concrete motive has been established, Thomas Crooks' internet history revealed he searched for information about major depressive disorder in the days leading up to July 13. Psychologists say the condition, a clinical term to describe depression that lasts a long time and affects everyday life, is a typical marker by hatred of oneself. But it can also be turned outward. Depressed people are around 3 times more likely to carry out violent crime. Some research shows at least a quarter of mass shooters in the U.S. Are clinically depressed or have another psychotic mental illness. The prospect that Crooks may have been depressed and taking antidepressants have reignited a debate in the medical world. Do those drugs, in fact, play a role in creating homicidal tendencies? Sorry, I can't read shit. Crooks targeted Trump, and the shooter's politics appear confused. He was registered as a Republican and had been described as classmates as a definite conservative, yet he donated money to a progressive movement in 2021. Still, even without a motive, doctors have said Crooks fits the standard model of a mass shooter. He was believed to have been disenfranchised and invisible and sought a sort of immorality through his violent actions. A review of Crooks' phones and computer by the FBI found that he had Googled major depressive disorder. However, it's not clear if he had been diagnosed with the condition, which affects 17 million adults. Everybody's depressed. Everybody got some type of depression shit. Blue says the first thing antidepressants cause before therapeutic levels are reached is knocking out inhibition. Thus, unaliving thoughts. Thoughts are inhibited and could be acted on. Antidepressants sometimes seems like some people like it's hard to find out what works for you. Like they really almost don't know. So you're like rolling the dice and trying to figure it out and testing it out. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, we'll switch you up and have you try something else and just keep trying all this shit until they find which one works. The depression creates isolation. There is kind of a burning ember kind of depression that's associated with internal rage against oneself and rage against the machine, as it were, rage against the world. I wanted to see if this kid was, I was thinking, could he have been an incel? Did he ever have a girlfriend? Did he ever date? Any of his exes ever came out or girlfriends? I haven't seen none of that. Damn. Somebody here on Twitter said, I'm voting for Kamala. It could be a blade of grass, and I'd vote for it over Trump. Jeez. All right. Major depressive disorder is a clinical diagnosis that causes persistent feeling of deep sadness, hopelessness, loss of an interest in activities, low energy, poor or increased appetite, concentration changes, unaliving ideations, and behavior. Okay. I have to underscore the term hatred for oneself, but oftentimes or sometimes that hatred gets projected out externally. A 2015 Oxford University study of about 47,000 people in Sweden, both with and without depression, found that those with depression were about 3 times more likely than the general population to commit a violent crime, such as homicide, aggravated assault, or robbery.
The party of democracy just forced out the presidential candidate that Americans nominated. Can't make this stuff up.
That's true. Thank you, Emily. Thank you for the 5. This was another thing I saw. I thought this was really interesting. Anybody that followed the whole Ethan Crumley and the Crumley story, we covered, I think, the trial. Oh, yeah, for the parents, we covered the trial. I think it was the mother. I don't think we followed the father's trial, but they were both found guilty. The school shooter. This guy, Crooks, went and looked up Ethan Crumley. It says Crooks also searched the Crumley's parents, who were both found guilty of voluntary manslaughter. The first time parents of a school shooter have been prosecuted. The other interesting thing is that law enforcement said Crooks had photos of both Biden and Trump in his phone and had searched when the Democratic convention was being held and where. I almost wonder, was he willing to target anybody? Not just Trump. Was he willing to go for Biden? And why was he looking up the Crumleys? Was he worried about his parents being prosecuted? Or was he hoping that they would get prosecuted? Did he hate his parents? And he was hoping, like, I get to cause all this chaos. I get to release my anger. I get to cause all this, like, whatever, killing a potential president, former president, screwing over my parents that have been screwing me over. Why did he look up the Crumleys? It's weird. Dr. Rachel Tolles, a licensed clinical psychologist based in California who specializes in the study of violent criminals, told the Daily Mail that Crooks may have been seeking to kill the most visible people on the planet to make up for the fact that he felt invisible all his life. That's interesting. Yeah. I saw that. A lot of warm heart. We were talking about that at the beginning of the stream. Someone wants a civil was in this nation. Sinclair says, Carol, my friend, was decimated by Lexapro. I've heard of that medication. On it, he was horrible, but getting off was crazy. I had a friend that took, I can't remember what medication it was, but it was for smoking. But it caused him to have all these crazy side effects because it was also like a antidepressant or something. I forgot what medication it was. He said he had to get off of it, though. It started messing with him really bad. He had to switch it. So it says here, however, an old theory about mass shooters has reemerged following the new details of Crooks' phone history. A medical research and co-founder of the famous Cochrane collaboration, an evidence-based research institution in the UK, floated the idea medication could have played a role. He said it's quite possible that he was taking a depression drug, which we know increases the risk of homicide. A controversial idea is not totally unheard of. A study from the Institute for Safe Medication Practices, a nonprofit based in Pennsylvania, drew a link between antidepressants and violent behavior. Isn't that crazy? Researchers collated more than 780,000 reports of adverse effects linked to 484 drugs. 1,937 involved violence, including acts of homicide or physical assault. Damn. They identified 31 drugs, 6% of the total, that were disproportionately linked to violent events. These included 11 antidepressants such as Prozac, some ADHD medications, and a few sedatives. Paxil was associated with a 10-time increased odds of causing aggression, while the rest were around 8 times as likely. Wow. Pam says, Chantex, my neighbor downstairs, is a crazy bee to start with, but she's on that, and she screams through the hallways. Wow. I think it was Robuchin. Yeah, Tammy. I think it was Robuchin. You got to be really careful taking this stuff, I guess. Meanwhile, a 2015 Swedish cohort study found a link between SSRIs and violent crime convictions, but the results varied by the age group. A 2016 review of over 70 trials found an increase in aggression and self-harm in children and adolescents taking SSRIs, but not in adults. Very interesting. Some research, including by Dr. Amir Raz, a professor of clinical neuroscience in the psychiatry department of McGill University, suggests that tinkering with serotonin in children's brain is a risky idea. That's why a lot of people have mixed feelings about this. I don't think, and I know people are going to disagree with this, I don't think ADD, ADHD medication is good for kids. I know people that have their kids on it, and they say it works wonderful for them, and they're doing their homework. They couldn't do it before, and like they're performing all this stuff. But I really believe like what some of this thing says. I think in a developing brain, when you start tinkering all that kind of shit, I think it messes with them eventually when they start growing older. And like I said here, is a risky idea. He told Scientific American in 2007 the human brain is developing exponentially when we are young, and exposure to antidepressants may affect or influence the wiring of the brain, especially when it comes to certain elements that have to do with stress, emotion, and regulation of these. Oh, no. Oh, I never seen this video. What? Police dogs search Thomas Crooks' explosive-laden van. Oh. Exercise is the best for depression. That's what I've been trying to get my ass out. After this stream, I'm going to go out for a little walk and jog. Yesterday, I went to the gym for a little bit. I'm just starting to get myself back into it. But I notice I'm in a way better mood. Like if I do my little walk, get some sun, like do a little exercise, a little jog, maybe. Yesterday I just did a couple of weights. I wasn't in the gym for long because I took a long break and I kind of fell off. I'm trying to get back in. But even being there for like 20 minutes, I felt a lot better coming out. D Street Media says, Mel, I gotta unsubscribe, bro. Sorry. After all these years, man, I'm subbed to both accounts. Well, this is the first time I've ever seen you comment in all these years. Let me see. Hold on a second. D Street Media. Hold on, let's check it out.
And the Democrat here on Live Now from Fox, a couple Live Now looks, and of course in Delaware, where the location of the president is, recovering there from that positive COVID test, but also just outside.
So D Street Media, I looked up your chat history, right? Because I don't know if you knew, you probably didn't know. I can look up your chat history and find out all the messages you've left in my chats. And you've been subscribed all these years, and you've only left me one comment. Wow, that's amazing. All these years, and you've only left me one comment? Well, thank you. I guess. We'll miss you, even though you've never been here, but we'll miss you. Take care.
Of Donald J. Trump, what are we learning from him, and so I can tee up the next guest?
So we do have a statement in from him on Truth Social. We also have.
I love when people do that. Like, I'm leaving, I'm gone. But you never said anything in the first place. Like you've never been here. So what are you leaving exactly?
That was pretty interesting. We also are getting news in that Trump's super PAC immediately has a new ad.
Trump posted a video?
Against Kamala Harris. They were ready for this, Andy. The Trump campaign was kind of waiting in the wings, no doubt. Also, RNC research, they're shifting their attention to Kamala Harris. I just have to, for the viewers, just kind of a point of personal privilege here. In 2020, I covered the Democratic presidential primary.
So Trump just dropped the video.
Kamala was in on it. She covered up Joe's obvious mental decline.
Our president is in good shape, in good health, tireless, vibrant, and I have no doubt about the strength of the work that we have done.
But Kamala knew Joe couldn't do the job, so she did it. Look what she got done. A border invasion, runaway inflation, the American dream dead. They created this mess. Kamala owns this failed record. Make America Great Again Inc. is responsible
Sweet
for the
dreams, you've
content
been
of this
here.
advertising.
Bunch of messages. You've been here. Look at that. You're still going, Sweet Dreams. Woo! Sweet Dreams. That's somebody that's actually been here. All right, so Trump jumping on, now, taking advantage, I guess, of the moment.
In Joe Biden. I also covered that summer in 2020, Joe Biden's choices that he had to pick a running mate. And so you remember, Andy, back then, he committed to picking a woman. He committed to picking a black woman. And so Kamala Harris was on that list. She was obviously eventually chosen. And in the wake of the debate, Andy, Joe Biden has been asked about Kamala Harris succeeding him. This didn't just come out of nowhere here. And so Joe...
All right, let me cover the little bits of what was this? All right, they're saying there's more COVID are getting higher. All right, there's just a few topics for Thomas. Let's do that so we can knock that out. And if we want to talk a little bit more about Biden, So gun range classmate Thomas Crooks says Crooks made an evil smirk. Let's just watch this real quick.
And they said, well, you had taken a class at the Keystone Shooting Center, and the person that you were in the class with was the person that had shot Donald Trump. When I went for the class, I was surprised that the class was only one other person and me. He was quite young, very quiet, seemed friendly, nice kid. So we went into the range and each took our booths. We were right next to each other, and he had already was loaded and firing before I had gotten my gun even loaded. So I was kind of surprised at that, and so I figured he was experienced, and he ended up doing better than me because on the further distances, he had shot one area so many times that it blew out a hole in the target. Towards the end of the classroom discussion, when we really kind of ran out of training stuff to talk about, we started talking about other things, and eventually I got into politics. He wasn't saying anything. He remained quiet. So I was kind of, waiting to see what this guy would do because it was getting a little tense there, and he never said a word. He just sat there, kind of smiled, looked, and didn't say anything. So I was surprised at that, not knowing what was going to happen in the future. But even then, I was kind of like, how come this guy isn't saying anything, yay or nay? I couldn't believe it. I couldn't even have a conversation for the first 10 seconds because I.
Oh, thank you, April.
Stunned. So they asked me a few questions. I told them what I knew, and they asked me, if he had said anything unusual or did anything unusual.
Bieber!
What he had with him and stuff like that. family lost their father, a wife lost her husband. You know, he was trying to protect his family. So, you know, this person not only wanted to assassinate Donald Trump, he didn't care who else he hurt along the way. It chills thinking about who I was sitting next to. And if he was that deranged, who knows what he would have done inside the range if he felt like it, you know? He could have shot us. So.
I've thought about that when going to the range, like, because my mind always thinks of like the worst case scenario possible. And so a couple times I've thought of like, what if somebody in here just fucking goes nuts and turns around and starts shooting at us, you know? Like, well, the one thing about that is that everybody in the range is loaded with a gun too. I guess so if somebody does kind of start whatever, somebody could probably turn around and react to the person, hopefully, you know, take his ass down. Hopefully. I mean, I don't know if it would take a while to realize what's going on, but I've had that thought. Stephen Baldwin. I don't know when this video is from, but apparently he was threatening Greg Gutfeld and Jesse Waters, I guess from Fox. The thing that caught me about this is like, I don't know when this video is from, but how deranged this guy looked. I guess this is Alec Baldwin's brother, I guess? Stephen Baldwin? Just need to confirm that. He looks crazy as shit, though. His eyes, yo. Stephen Baldwin. Yeah. Stephen Andrew Baldwin, American actor, producer, blah, blah, blah. But it says Stephen Baldwin is known for his conservative religious political beliefs. He's Baldwin's youngest brother. I don't know.
Hey, Jesse. Hey, Greg. Gee whiz, sure hope nothing bad ever happens to you guys in the future. Hey,
I don't know. He just look his eyes, yo. He look like he'd be in a movie. I mean, I guess he's an actor. Be like a killer in a movie or something, or a psycho in the movie. Maria Bartemero says a mystery man in a gray suit climbed on top of the structure where Crooks had been shot from, apparently to confirm Crooks' death and took police to send photos to the ATF. So I don't know what's up with that. It's kind of weird, interesting.
Local officers went up to that roof and started taking pictures of the dead body, of the shooter's body. So suddenly a guy in a gray suit walks up the ladder and goes up to the roof. And this guy in the gray suit, who didn't appear to have credentials, everybody assumed he was the Secret Service. So he tells one of the local law enforcement, send those pictures to this cell phone. And he gives him a number. And everybody assumed, well, that must be Secret Service. It turns out it wasn't Secret Service.
Some guy in a suit walks up the ladder. They believe you Secret Service. I'm not sure whether they gave credentials, but that's part of again, Maria, this is so preliminary. I'm issuing this. I'm providing this information, a much more detailed timeline to prompt others to come forward. We need to complete this picture. We have a lot of puzzle pieces to fill in here.
Is it odd to you that the locals were being told to send the pictures to the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Agency, ATF? Where does ATF come in?
It's very odd. The oddity starts with the fact that local law enforcement were just tasked with securing the perimeter, told to go cover that AGR building, not really told where to set up, so they set up on the second floor. They went to that AGR building at 10:30 in the morning. So they were stationed there well in advance. You know, they noticed this suspicious character at 5:10. They took a photo of him at 5:14. The president was shot at 6:11. You know, so again, an hour has passed. You know, again, they don't communicate. They didn't have communication, same channels with their law enforcement patrol officers. They weren't in communication with the Secret Service other than going through the Butler County Communication Center. So again, it's everything you would assume about Secret Service protection of a former president was not true. It didn't happen. It's just baffling to me. It should baffle the American public. That's why we need to find the answers.
So tomorrow should definitely be an interesting day. Tomorrow night, Trump speaking out about Secret Service, and then the Secret Service director being questioned.
Your preliminary comments, your preliminary findings, started taking pictures of the dead body, right? Can you tell us what happened then?
What's the same
Correct.
thing?
So that sniper team that was in the AGR building, they're the first ones that went up on the...
Yeah, same thing. Trump shooter practiced at gun range weeks before rally. I was sitting next to evil, witness says. We just kind of saw that. he is. I don't know, man. I do feel like they forced Joe Biden. I feel like they did kind of force him. He kind of almost didn't have a choice. He faced a lot of pressure. A lot of his people were telling him to step down. And so, I mean, the people want him to step down. This is kind of funny. The Babylon Bee satirical news site posted that Joe Biden drops out of presidential race. People were suggesting that like she's helping him out and holding him up and kind of he needs the help and stuff. It's kind of funny. So he said he's going to do a speech, or he's going to speak to the nation this coming week. That should be interesting. This is big, man. This is like big news. A lot of historical stuff happening. You know, how can you not pay attention or keep an eye on what's going on? You know. Elon Musk said, my smartest friends, including those living in San Francisco Bay Area who have been lifelong Democrats, are excited about Trump's advance. Popcorn Planet wrote under that. He said, so sick of Elon Musk's thoughts on the election. Of course he wants Trump like most wealthy do. Trump won't tax them, but he always plays likes. It's more for altruistic reasons. Twitter's in a war. Let me see his comment section. Cinema. Anything to say about the other 99% of billionaires and their entirety of Hollywood constantly sucking Biden's old... Oh, God. That's Twitter for you. Or is this the only thing that triggers you? I don't know. Do you really think Biden would tax himself, Pelosi, and other wealthy politicians who've made millions? $125K a year job, the way Biden's promising to tax the wealthy. Andy, your lefty is showing. He's brilliant mind, period. How don't you ever have anything to cry about? I'm sure he's bothered by your opinion. Trump gave me, a middle-class person, more money in my pocket with tax breaks. The Dems gave me hunger because I can't afford groceries. Yeah, groceries is so ridiculously expensive. I'm spending more than I've ever spent on groceries before. Like, it's like almost rent or some shit. It's crazy. You know, I guess when you have a family and kids and shit, but yeah. Groceries is crazy. The prices have gone up. It's just, I don't know. I remember when Trump was in office, though. I remember one of the cool things, I remember he gave more back on tax credit, something like that, and childcare, I think, credit, or some shit like that. At the time, that was cool. Crazy. Trump was ridiculed by media earlier this month when a hidden video camera captured him saying he beat Biden so badly in the debate that Kamala Harris would be replacing him. Today, that became a reality.
To do with the debate the other night.
Amazing.
He kicked that old broken down pile of crap.
Yeah.
It's a bad guy. He just quit, you know. He's quitting the race.
Is that right?
Yep, I got him out of the race. And that means we have Kamala. I think she's going to be better. She's so bad. She's so pathetic.
Oh, wow.
It's just so fucking bad. So
I just can't imagine.
But can you imagine that guy dealing with Putin and the president of China, who's a fierce person?
Oof. I didn't even think about it that far. If Kamala had to deal like with these foreign stuff, policies, and like these people in other countries, like China, Russia, how Kamala would handle it.
Fierce man, a very tough guy, and they see him. They probably he can't. But they just announced he's probably quitting.
Good. Very good. Yeah, that's amazing.
Just keep knocking.
I have such a hard time trusting people. All these people got hidden cameras and shit recording you. Is today really National Ice Cream Day? National Ice Cream Day 2024. Let's see. Oh, yeah, July 21st. So Biden, known for the ice cream, renounces his thing. Ryan Garcia has some thoughts, I guess. What did he say? Women shouldn't talk in church? Huh? Some Bible verses discuss women being silent in church. What is he? Okay. The woman to the right of me literally told me. Okay, all right. Maybe I shouldn't have came to this guy's page. But here we go. LMAO, Kamala Harrison. That's actually comical. Church. All right. Bill Clinton. Okay, what did he have to say? He posted something new 15 minutes ago. President Biden has capped his extraordinary career of service with presidency that has lifted America out of its unprecedented pandemic, created millions of new jobs, rebuilt a battered economy, strengthened our democracy, and restored our standing in the world. By any measure, he has advanced our founders, charged to build a more perfect union, and his own stated goal of restoring the soul of our nation. We join millions of Americans in thanking President Biden for all he has accomplished, standing up for America time and time again, with his North Star always being what's best for the country. We're honored to join the president in endorsing Vice President Harris, and we'll do whatever we can to support her. We lived through many ups and downs, but nothing has made us more worried for our country than the threat posed by a second Trump term. He has promised to be a dictator on day one, and the recent ruling by his servile Supreme Court will only embolden him to further shred the Constitution. Now it is time to support Kamala Harris and fight with everything we've got to elect her. America's future depends on it. That's Bill Clinton. From President Clinton and Secretary Clinton. All right, what else they got? Oh my God. I don't think I can play this video. I don't know. Can I play this video? I'm afraid of this. I'm afraid to play this shit. Maybe I shouldn't. I think this might be a little too much. Give me. I probably shouldn't. I think I should listen to this after. This guy, Charleston White, had some thoughts, but he's pretty wild in some of the shit he says. I might post it on Discord or something. He's over the top. I'm just reading the caption of the video. Just reading the caption alone. I'm like, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't play it. He is wild. I watch him sometimes. I mean, I sometimes see the clips when he goes viral and stuff. I might post them today. I got to make a new poll. So what's okay? A new poll for Twitter. New poll. Who are you voting for? Make an updated poll. Charleston White. Does he actually say these things?
Man, they got me fucked up. I wouldn't dare vote for no black bitch. Now,
God.
Listen, I was raised by black women. I got a grandmother, I got black sisters, but I wouldn't dare put no black woman in no motherfucking position of the White House. The commander-in-chief of the military, a black woman. Not only that, a mixed black bitch married to a white man. Her pH balance is way off with that white dick. Man, you can't make
Oh
me
my
believe.
God.
Hell no. This man, Kamala Harris got a white boy. Her pH balance is off, and her mental instability got to be off. A hoe would have thrown
Mental instability.
off pH balance unless she's sneaking and fucking a nigga. Now, if she's
Oh my God.
sneaking and fucking a nigga, then we might can let her be vice president. But there's no way. America, I'd rather for black people to go back to slavery than let a black woman run this goddamn country. Don't do it. Say, listen, man, I'm against anything with a black woman running shit. Motherfucker, bitch, you get your ass back in that bedroom and in the kitchen.
Oh my God. Charleston White has given his opinion. Okay. All right. Hold up. Robert F. Kennedy. I will be giving a press conference today at 5 p.m. at the Kennedy compound. All right. What do you guys think this is about? Why are you guys laughing? What do you think this is about? What's Robert? Oh man, we're going to have to come back live? I might have to just make a channel just for politics. I don't know. Shit's going to get crazy. It get politics or some shit. Damn. I got the Clips channel coming. I might have to do It Get Politics or some shit. I have to separate it. What's going on? What do you guys think? He's a huge troll. Yeah, he is a huge troll. What do you guys think is going? You think he's going to announce he's running? I mean, he's already kind of drop out, endorse Trump. Oh, we gotta watch this. We gotta watch at 5 o'clock Eastern. Oh, what's he gonna say? Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Kamala and Kennedy? No. He's going to be the runner. Kennedy, he's accepting. So people like Kennedy. Some people like Kennedy. Yeah, that's true. Let me, I was just trying to find a picture. 5 p.m. Eastern. Damn, this is crazy. I really might have to make another channel. Lord! Press conference. I don't know what you want. Crazy times we're in. All right, let me set up a thumbnail and a stream. We can listen to this
A
in the
statement
meantime.
from right now is Vice President Kamala Harris. Do we make anything into that? Is that curious by in your eyes?
Well, all I can tell you is that I believe I saw as I was speaking to you that a statement from her is imminent. So I don't think we'll be without her weighing in for very long. And, you know, I think we'll hear from her pretty quickly.
All right. Anthony Dragna, thank you so much, Politico reporter. I know you're doing such a great job there on Capitol Hill. A major bombshell today in terms of this news. We appreciate you jumping on so quickly and breaking it all down for us here on Live Now.
Thank you for having me.
All right, thank you so much. All right, let's continue on here on Live Now from Fox. I'm Andy Mack. Thank you so much for joining us. Of course, a live picture there at her residence in the Washington, D.C. area, the home of the Vice President, the Naval Observatory as well. So the maybe statement imminent, but what we do know right now is that President Biden has
Are they gonna
decided to step aside there and make room for the next person to head closer to November. Of course, we saw this statement coming in just over an hour or so ago, saying over the past 3.5 years, we've made great progress as a nation. It goes on to say, it has been the greatest honor of my life to serve as your president. And while it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and country for me to stand down and to focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term. He also said, I will speak to the nation later this week in more detail about his decision. All right, you're watching live now from Fox. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's slide away now for a quick 2-minute break.
Okay. So is she going to say an official thing? Why they parked outside of her? Like, why they outside of her house? All right. So Kamala, I wonder what she's going to have to say, too. Thank you, my fellow Americans. I won't let you down.
You make watching all this cray a lot more enjoyable. No lol, thank you.
Oh, JB, thank you so much. Thank you for the 20. JB! Yo, we had so much fun. Oh, Friday, the RNC had a blast that night. I had so much fun jamming out the music and just whatever, watching all the stuff. Last night, we watched the fights on Discord. Jake Paul versus Matthew Perry. That was a really good fight. I posted some clips on Twitter, and there was another fight before that too that was really good. The guy got knocked out. Oh, Amanda Serrano was a good fight too. That was a good fight. Robert F. Kennedy. What could he be saying? He's going to take the charge now? Supposed to schedule this for 5 o'clock. Have to see what they're going to say. 5 o'clock. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. Oh, it was so much fun last night. It started out kind of boring. At first, it was a little like slow. But then once the one guy started fighting, he got knocked out. And then Amanda came on, and she took out the chick. And then Jake Paul. The Jake Paul fight was really good. He kept bopping that guy in his head. He was just taking all the hits until they finally called a fight. Let me see what else have we got going on. Twitter. The world of Twitter. If Kamala beats Trump, I'll be shocked. I will be shocked.
On Live Now from Fox.
That I will faithfully execute
the office of President of the United States.
The office of President of the United States.
And will, to the best of my ability.
And will, to the best of my ability.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
So they're saying Hillary Clinton endorsed Kamala, so I guess Hillary won't be running, I guess, then. I guess based off of that statement.
We've learned again that democracy is precious. Democracy is fragile. And at this hour, my friends, democracy has prevailed.
Yeah, he did. Mike hung in there.
Hey, Doctor, how are you?
Mr. President, how are you?
You're going to be doing a lot of talking for the next while. We will get through this. We will defeat this pandemic. And to a nation waiting for action, let me be the clearest on this point. Help is on the way. Good afternoon.
All All right, you're just listening into there some key moments of his presidency, including there being sworn in some now almost 4 years ago as we continue here on Live and Now from Fox. I do want to just continue to touch on what we're learning here, the historical nature of today, of this moment, as he will not seek a re-election bid. I do want to put up just a couple of these images right now as he continues to recover from that COVID positive diagnosis in Delaware. He remains.
Right. I think what we'll do then, I'm going to take a little break. And we'll come back at 5. Let's come back at 5 and check out what RFK Jr. has to say. And I think it has to be related to Kamala. Is he going to run? Is he going to take the bid? I'm going to wait to do another poll on Twitter. Oh, yes. Me too. Jesus First says, I want to see the debate between Kamala and J.D. Vance. Timothy, thank you for the 6 months. I appreciate you resubscribing. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything. Timothy, thank you. Oh, B, thank you for the 13 months. I'm so glad you're covering all these events. Mel, best chat and mods on YouTube. Thank you. Emily, thank you for the super chat earlier. It says the party of democracy just forced out the presidential candidate. Yeah, I think he was totally. I don't think if it wasn't for them like telling him to step down, I don't think he would have stepped down. He would have kept going. I mean, he was very adamant he wasn't going to step down. I can prep too. Thank you for the 5. Says Michelle Obama would lose. Oh God, the fat acceptance vote. I feel like Michelle Obama is more liked than Kamala Harris. Way more liked than Kamala. Kimber, thank you for the 10 earlier. Appreciate that. Anita, Nurse Janice UK, thank you for the 17 months. Says, I haven't been watching in a while. Hope you and Maddie, and better half are doing great. Sending love from the UK. Did you get the floor protector? I haven't. And you know what? I need to. I saw a different one that I really, really liked. So I could move this chair on the floor better. I have the carpet wheels, but it's still kind of hard to move sometimes. I'm going to look into that. Jen, thank you for the 19 months. Sorry I missed it earlier. Thank you so much for resubscribing as well. The Washington Examiner posted an article 2 days ago that he was stepping down. They deleted the article within seconds. Interesting.
To stay on for another term for any longer. Obviously, with each passing day, it was impacting his future historical legacy. It was also certainly going to impact the willingness of Democrats and his supporters to want to support a presidential library when his presidency ends. So this is part of the decision. He finally recognized the obvious, and that is, obviously, he wants a presidential library. He wants to be remembered favorably in history. And so he did what was necessary.
Check this out. Breaking. Vivek reacts live. Let's see something real quick before we head out. Vivek.
Right man in America right now. You are the most correct man in the country.
I wish it weren't so. I mean, I said this in the Republican debate stage a year ago. The media knows the NBC debate. They roasted me. They called me a conspiracy theorist. And as you know, Ben, even on a darker note, I have worried for a long time. I said this in the campaign trail in Iowa. You were right there with me. It was uncomfortable, even for a lot of Republicans, when I worried they weren't going to let Donald Trump get to that nomination last week. But I think divine providence guided him there nonetheless. And we're in a strong position now. I think the reality is we got to avoid making the mistake of thinking that we're up against a candidate here. We're not. We're up against a machine. And the more we see it that way, the more we understand what's actually going on. I actually just had a good conversation with President Trump. I think his head's in the right place. Sweet. I think the right answer is it doesn't matter who they put up, right? We stand for our own vision of who we are and what we stand for, irrespective of the machine we're up against. Maybe it's Kamala. Maybe it's not. I personally, you're not going to hear me come out instantly just attacking Kamala. I've been plenty critical of her. I just don't think that's the right strategy for us. I think it looks unnecessarily insecure to say that, oh, now that it's not Biden, it's Kamala. It's a machine anyway. And regardless of the machine's activity, we have our own vision. And President Trump, and I think the convention overall, did an outstanding job of laying that out for the country. So we're coming off of, I think, a position where we're insulated from this a little bit. complacency isn't an option. I did see a lot of people last week celebrating like this thing is over. In some ways, this thing hasn't even begun. But we're in our strongest position if we don't just fret and say, oh my God, it's not Biden. Now let's train the fire on Kamala. It's almost, you don't need to, right? This woman, I've never run for president before. I made it to the Iowa caucus. I got 8%. She was, a U.S. senator with a pedigree track headed there. She didn't even make it to the Iowa caucus of her own party's primary nomination process. So people don't inherently like her. I would say forget training the criticism on Kamala Harris or anything else. Forget that. I think that's the wrong, it's a knee-jerk temptation. It's the wrong way to go. Focus more on the ideals of our founding and why Donald Trump is going to be the person who's going to do that. He picked a great vice president last week, a good friend of mine. I think we're in a strong position to focus on our.
All right, let me see what Jennifer Coffin ever had to say real quick too. Let's see. Coffin Daffer. Let's see. President Biden has stated he will stand down and not run for another term. He stated this was for the best interest of his party. He will see through the remaining days of his presidency. #Biden, #election 2024. And that said, I was hoping for something like this from Donald Trump, hoping that President Biden recovers from COVID onward. Let's unify this country. I don't know when this post was from. Crooked Joe Biden was not fit to run for president and certainly not fit to serve, and he never was. He'll attain the position of president by lies, fake news, and not leaving his basement. All those around him, including his doctor and the media, knew that he wasn't capable of being president, and he wasn't. And now, look at what he's done for our country, with millions of people coming across our border, totally unchecked, unvetted, many from prisons, mental institutions, and record numbers of terrorists. We will suffer greatly because of his presidency, but we will remedy the damage he's done very quickly, make America great. So that was one of his recent posts. So she's saying she was hoping for a more unified post from him. He is disgusting. He's despicable. You were hoping for him to be a decent human being, was where you went wrong. Okay. All right. So we'll come back later. I set the stream for 5, and we'll check it out. Just to see, I'm very curious what kind of announcement he's going to make. Maybe he's going to offer hope, for the voters that don't want to vote for Trump and don't want to vote for Kamala. Maybe R.F. Kennedy has a solution. All right, so I'll see you guys in a bit. Going to take a little break. Your little son. And I'll be back. All right, bye. Thanks for joining. Hit the like button on the way out. Peace. Bye. Bloop, 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 bloop.